Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the 8 at 4 Behind the Lens companion video and podcast series. I'm Matt Pochily with Kelli Lemon, Will Roye, who brought so much of 8 at 4 to life for our first episode, which was absolutely incredible, debuted last week. And we wanted to just sort of rap about the episode, how it came together, give folks some insight into how we brought it together, but mostly how you gave it life, like you did. It was phenomenal.
I appreciate that. It was fun, and I learned a lot. I grew up here, but I learned a lot about Richmond just from shooting that first episode.
What I loved about it was that so much of the filmmaking and the interviews brought things to life that we kind of pass on the street and just take for granted, and now have an impression of, I can experience that, but offered more context to it as well.
Okay. And when we were developing the show and thinking about the show, I mean, like, choosing 8 things to talk about is hard, but kind of easy too, but more hard of trying to find the exact content, the exact person to talk to, scheduling that, and coming up with great storytelling. So congratulations on the first one. Is definitely dope.
Thank you.
Can we get into some of the
let's
topics?
get into it. So 8 at 4, first episode presented by VCU Massey Cancer Center. And first segment we came out with was business and Hatch Local. Now, since that episode came out, I mean, Hatch Local had opened actually slightly before.
He's been every day.
It came out.
Every day.
Every day. Before it even opened. Just talk about that. Because, I mean, you can see in the shots, like, they have dry erase markers on the desks and stuff, like, and purses strewn across there because people are going in there and working at the business of opening the business. Talk about what that was like.
It was really cool. So I actually live in Manchester. I would pass it all the time, and I'd see the coming soon signs. And I like to eat. So that was the first thing on my mind, is like, what is Hatch Local hitting on? So when I went in there, it was really cool, really clean. One of, like, the most well-designed spaces I've seen in a while. And again, the first time I went, they didn't have the food there yet, so I couldn't taste it that day, but I could tell it was about to be something big.
Food halls are such the new thing. Like, this is our first one in Richmond, but other cities have these all over the place. So Hatch is setting the trend, right?
Yeah, and I could feel that energy, and the people that they chose to be in there, amazing restaurants.
Yeah, that's what I want to understand more, because I want to make sure that I get it and that our viewers get it as well. Like, I could go there and order something from Buttermilk and Honey and then something from someone else and just pair these things together. And that's my meal.
Like the food court at the mall.
Exactly. It's the food court without the mall.
The food
and
court
better
restaurant.
And better restaurant. Okay, we not better restaurant. But local. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the whole thing. Is like, these people are right here. They're locally owned. They're sourced in Richmond. All of those things, and more so, that's what Hatch is about too. Right?
It was
so
really cool.
Then you went on to the culture segment, which is, I'm so excited to see how that exploration of culture continues. We started with Ashley Hawkins at Studio 23, coming at the end of closing out Richmond Black Restaurant Experience and the event that they had. What did you learn? What was that like?
That event was dope. And I know, I got to see my friend there. It was really cool because I've never seen that combination of things happen at the same time. I've seen places where, you can eat and listen to music, but I've never seen a place where you can create your own clothes while eating great food, while listening to music, while painting. It was dope.
It was an experience.
It was an experience. And I wanted to put the camera down and just take part, but I had to work. But it was really fun.
And as a creative, what did you think overall about the space? I mean, like you just said, you wanted to put the camera down, but like, it's a space where you can work. Creatives are there, like, building and making things. What did you think about the space in general?
The space was really cool. It's one of those things where, like, when you pass by it on the street, you would never know what it is. And you walk in and you just see all this cool stuff. So like I said, I want to go back and just really bask in, like, what they have to offer outside of filming them.
That's dope.
They seem to do a really great job of claiming art in every medium that art can be expressed. Studio 23 is there and has someone who's an expert in that field.
Yeah, I mean, and as Ashley Hawkins said, it's no secret, I'm on the board. And one of the reasons I'm on the board is because they are catering to all forms of art and all people. Like, they are about people. And wherever stage you're in, they're about the comfort of, recognizing you as a human and whatever beliefs and values that you have, too. So, yeah, it's interesting to see what they create next.
Yeah.
So, into wellness, you talked with Ashley Williams of the Well Collective.
Right.
For anybody who's had the experience of knowing Ashley over the past, 5 to 7 years, she has been an ever-evolving, growing, and dynamic woman that is now in this space of her own, in this brick and mortar. Just talk a little bit about that. I know you're friends with her, so I know the piece kind of came together easy.
Right.
What I loved so much about that piece from the experience of it is as we journey through the flow of the episode, there was so much movement in there with her and the way that she's talking and the whole space, everything just set itself up for that.
Right. I wanted her to walk us through the space because her space is so beautiful. The way she's curated, like the decoration, the decor, even just the natural materials that the building's made out of, it really feels different when you walk in. Yeah. And there's a vibe about the place. So, I kind of told her, like, let's walk through as we're talking and just give the viewers a feel of what it feels like to be in here.
You've been in the space before it was the Well Collective.
Right.
Did the vibe, did the spirit change in there? Did the energy change? Could you tell a difference?
I feel like it's more of a collaborative energy because there's more people.
Okay.
So it's like, it's cool to see other wellness workers in there, like, with their own businesses. They bring their own unique personalities to the space. Some of them were there that day meditating. It was just really cool. Yeah.
Interesting.
Lifestyle, and you talk with Duran Chavis of Happily Natural Day.
Right.
Duran, urban farming is his lifestyle.
I mean, it is.
And
I think his picture's in the dictionary when it says it. It's
Right.
It says
Right.
Duran Chavis started this.
Right.
He didn't, but
And,
just
well, what he did start, it at least feels like to me, is Black Space Matters.
yeah.
After the George Floyd murder and the progression of 2020 and 2021, Black Space Matters, and making that message prominent and visible to now where he's at the point where, what was this? They debuted this was their second season of Black Space Matters. Just talk a little bit about that event.
Yeah, so I actually had the privilege of working with Duran to shoot that series about Black Space Matters, and they debuted it at the VCU Institute for Contemporary Art, beautiful facility. And it was just really cool because the community got a chance to come out, and I could tell some people there didn't really know everything there is to know. They were more curious than anything about what is urban farming.
Yeah.
But then you had the people who die hard, garden, grow their own food for years. So it was a cool combination of people that came to watch it, and a lot of information being shared.
All year round. It's not just spring and summer when he's working. They're gardening all year round, right?
Yeah. I don't know enough about it to really like even fathom how he does that.
Yeah.
But he's gonna make something grow
Anywhere.
anywhere, any day.
Any day.
Yeah.
Yeah, he talked about one time that I met him, hydroponics, I think is what it was. I was like, what is that? But that you hit the nail on the head with, he's going to make something grow all year round.
Is that like when they grow it on the water?
It's got a water source that kind of filters through and it self-generates itself. Yeah. I think, right?
That's over my head, but
it's right enough.
Yeah.
For our purposes. I enjoyed, again, as the whole thing went, you then, like, it's almost a journey of a day that you took through those first 4 stories, because then with Duran and that piece, it opens at night. And you open up with that far shot of the ICA. Every shot just kind of, for me, captured me, had my interest, kept me going. I really liked all of that.
I appreciate that.
But then we come to one of really my favorite segments of the show, which was just still images in your narration of it, is community and Connecticut. And community is another one of those segments that you'll be able to expand on so much throughout the year. But you started with Connecticut. He has sort of been a watchful eye over the community in some way, and that how did you arrive though at Connecticut at the story?
Honestly, I don't know. He just popped in my mind because I remember always riding up the boulevard as a child with my parents, and you just look over and just see him kind of like, what's up, you know? But then I realized, like, where is he? And I remember they moved him to Shockoe Bottom, but I hadn't heard like anything else. I was curious to know where he went to.
You never said in the story why they named him Connecticut, right? Did you?
I didn't.
Yeah.
I did some research, but I wasn't conclusive enough to
find out why. And unfortunately, because he was a Native American, it could have been, just something that someone else named him, and it truly wasn't his, naturally born name. So
true.
Yeah.
What I think, don't quote me.
Okay.
But I believe the street that he was originally supposed to be placed in was in D.C. on Connecticut Ave or something. So, but then they never put him there.
Gotcha.
That was his name.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Into education, you gave us an education on Edgar Allan Poe. I would hope, I think, for folks who have an interest, or literary folks in the community have an interest and would get up to the Poe Museum for their 100th anniversary this year. But that was not the reason that you went. You knew the museum was there. We knew of Edgar Allan Poe's fame, if you will.
Yeah.
But you told the story in a different way that isn't just the museum. And we get a lot of information about him as a person.
Right. I was curious. I will admit I've never read anything Poe except maybe The Raven in school. But I know that Richmond claims him really hard. Like, and I was curious, like, why? Like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
So I went, and the people at the museum were just so informative and like explaining his why. And I had questions, so everything you heard in that interview was me asking questions before that. And it was like, why is he perceived as being dark? Or, what do you think caused him to become this person? And the answers, his life was wild.
I mean, he just made up stuff. He was like, oh, let me just make this up. Let me just make this up and then make a poem about it.
So much of that you can see in some way, shape, or form in our present society, whether it's like on social media,
fake
trying
news.
to give the illusion of this or fake news, like all those things. You're like, Poe was doing that. Poe was doing that.
Poe was the influencer
He's
back
the
then.
OG, right?
He is the OG, yes.
But then even like hearing the why and why he felt like maybe he wanted to recreate his life differently, like his childhood, it was just very interesting. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Sports, our sports segments presented by the Richmond Flying Squirrels, and we offered some insight into Front Page Bets, who is here with us in this building, a Lee Enterprises property, but puts out great content and offers a lot of insight about sports betting, that rapidly growing industry.
Yeah.
And what's cool about it is that it's content. Like, it's not just, all right, what's the line? Where are you placing your bets? No, it is, okay, here are some things that you need to consider before placing your bets. You know, like the blue Gatorade and the green Gatorade ain't been poured on the Super Bowl in the last couple of Super Bowls. Don't bet on that, right?
Well, Mike has been a writer for as long as he has, that he has ties all across the country. Of writers and sports writers who are able to contribute to that platform, frontpagebets.com, that fuels so much of the information and the content that they're putting up there that satisfies every inquiry I think you could have about placing a bet for an upcoming game. Then we wrapped it up with Insight, which is our new segment that's part of just other content put out by the Virginia Video Network, which is the A1 Extra, which is a neat opportunity, I think, to be able to share some of the great writing and reporting that our staff in the Richmond Times-Dispatch newsroom do and contribute to the community.
Right.
And we seem to, with me hosting A1 Minute, I seem to get this, not the same stories, but legs on some stories, right? So I'll report it one way based off of what they said, and then they'll come back with some more and come back with some more. And this Colonial Downs story got everybody excited, especially with the opportunity for the Kentucky Derby. So
that's big.
Yeah. Good to hear that there's going to be some live action hat wearing.
Oh, yeah. Can you
Get your
imagine
hat
that?
ready.
Yeah, hat wearing. So,
Well, this has been 8 at 4 Behind the Lens, presented by the VCU Massey Cancer Center. Kelli Lemon, Will Roye, I'm Matt Pochily. We hope you'll stick around for the next episode of 8 at 4 and learn more about all the great things there are to experience in the community.